Coming up on this episode of Roots from LNER.
I never even considered that it might be dangerous to go and like hitchhike in some places and just stay at people's houses that we didn't know. And I guess maybe when you're young, you don't really see risk as much. I did all the like bungee jumping and skydiving in New Zealand. We climbed glaciers and stuff. That was really amazing. Whitewater rafting, I think. Yeah, I think we just did it all. I just went out around the whole island on my own and swam with turtles. And then we were going off to look for something else, stingrays, I think. And the captain was like, get in the water now, there's a whale shark. And so I just stuck my mask on and threw myself and I just landed next to a whale shark and it was insane.
BLT or G&T. With food and drink delivered to your seat, it's freedom all the way with LNER. Hello there and welcome to Roots from LNER. I'm Jenni Falconer and today on the show I am joined by a writer, a director and an actor who is as much a star over in the States as she is this side of the Atlantic. She famously played Barbara Keane in Gotham, as well as starring in The Crown, Breaking In and Being Human. Her work has taken her all over the world, but her home country of Wales is where she is the happiest. Welcome, Erin Richards.
Hello.
Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us here. As you can see, we are headed to Harrogate today. We'll find out more about that later, but I just want to make sure, are you comfy?
Very, thank you.
Very good. We've got a little bump.
We've got a big bump.
I was going to say, I said, that thing is little, it's cute.
Do you? Oh, feels big to me.
Is it comfortable?
It's not bad, actually. This is a good seat.
We wanted to make sure we had the best chair for you.
Thank you.
If you want a snack, I mean, I don't know if you've got cravings.
I didn't think I did, but I think I might be addicted to Rennie.
Heartburn.
Yeah, heartburn sweet. Yeah, because I don't suffer anything in pregnancy except heartburn and a little bit of cramping. So I just take iron tablets and Rennie and I'm really happy.
Okay, you're sorted.
Yeah.
If we were actually on a train right now, would you be calm and collected or would you be rather flustered after rushing and making it just in time?
Oh, of late have become a more on-time person. So I wasn't flustered today. I took the train to get here from Cardiff and I did it all very peacefully and relaxed. So yeah, maybe I would be okay.
Okay, that's good. Good to go. And train outfit, are you in your travelling clothes today?
Yeah, I thought I was quite smart today, but you look so lovely and I look a bit shabby.
Are you kidding? You look great.
No, I do. I look a bit shabby.
Because it's something, I think, when we all think back of when you were little, you do have like fond memories of family holidays, of your kind of first trips abroad. And your parents might remember things entirely differently, but you have these amazing memories. Do you remember what your first kind of travel memories were?
I don't know if I remember like my first. I just remember it all. I'm quite bad with my memory from when I was a kid, but it all kind of blends into one trip to France, which is something that we would do, I think, every summer. We'd go camping. We'd always go to like a Euro camp. And we'd always drive down through France. My just sort of general kind of memory from about 5 to 12 was that, sitting in the back of my mum's, I think she had a Chrysler. She had like one of those big like 7-seaters. I've got 2 sisters. So it would always be driving, reading, watching films on the little like crappy kind of pull down TV thing. And yeah, just like really loving traveling from a young age and just being in transit is something that I've always enjoyed, and like seeing new places.
I love that you did that. We did that a few times as well, driving to. So were you coming from Wales? Because you were born in Leeds, weren't you?
Born in Leeds, yeah. Not many people really know that because I say I'm Welsh and I speak Welsh and I know, yeah.
She's
Welsh
actually from Yorkshire.
Actually English. Don't support the rugby team though. But yeah, I'm born in Leeds, moved to Wales when I was 2 with my parents and we lived with my grandparents. And then they bought a house, I think, when I was 4 in Penarth, which is where I grew up.
Where
they
this
still
lovely
have
pier down there.
I know, it's gorgeous. Quite muddy, but you get a little kind of sense of water because I love water. And yeah, it's just like a really nice town to come from. Nice people, nice, vibes. And I just love going back there. I now live in Cardiff, but, we're only 10 minutes away from mum and dad.
It is lovely. So then when you were younger and you were setting off to go to France, it's quite an epic journey, really, because you'd have to leave Penarth. And then how would you get there?
I think we would take the ferry because I can't even remember when the tunnel came into existence, but like we would drive, it would just always feel like we were driving for days and days and days. And we would stop halfway down in a place called Miak, which is where my mum's best mate ended up living. She's from the Lake District, and they both taught there when they were like 21 or something. And Sylvia, her best mate, ended up marrying a French guy and staying in this tiny little town. So we'd stop halfway there and then carry on.
Oh, that's lovely. And then head off down to camp. Were you in a caravan or would you be in a tent?
Different things along the way. I think earlier on, I feel like we were in tents more. And then later, as we all grew up and complained a bit more, I think we got caravans. Or the parents would be in a caravan and we'd be in a tent sometimes. So
those were, I mean, when we did those kind of holidays, they were magical because you'd just be in this what felt like a big safe space, and you could roam, and there's a swimming pool, and you just loads of other kids on holiday.
Exactly. I felt really independent, really cool. And because I was the oldest, there's like me, and then there's 5 years, and then there's like 6 other cousins and sisters. So I was always like the old one.
I mean, it must have had quite a big impact because from my understanding, you still go to France quite regularly now.
Yeah, it's my favorite place to be, I think. The food and the people and the kind of variation in what you can do there. You know, you can be like in any of the really beautiful cities, or you can be by the sea, or you can go skiing and stuff. So, and it's so accessible, you know, you just like jump on either a ferry or the tunnel. So yeah, and my mum and her sister bought a house in that town that we used to stop in with her best mate. They bought a place about 12 or 15 years ago. They were just out shopping for apples.
No.
And
what?
Yeah, there was
and bought a house.
But literally, yeah, they were going to get vegetables. The place they were going was shut. Next door was an estate agent, and they saw the house and they were like, well,
So did they just have money, pocket change in for apples?
Yeah. So I think back then, it was a long time ago, and it was a really run down piece of property. So it was really cheap. And they've done it up over the years, and like obviously things have gone way more expensive, but I think they have managed to kind of do bit by bit when they got money. And now it's like a really beautiful house that everyone goes to, all the family, all the cousins and stuff.
You know, you hear about so many people that do that. They find some dilapidated old farmhouse.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can see this working. What was it? What state was it like when they got it?
It was horrendous. I refused to go because I was a little princess. So all my sisters went, and they would camp in the back garden.
But so they've still got that now.
Yeah. So we were just there this summer with my son, who's 2.5. Me and my husband and him, and my mum and dad and sisters come through. So it's really nice. It's like everyone's always kind of coming and going, and my mum and dad usually go for the whole summer. So it's really beautiful.
Oh my goodness, it sounds great. And what stage was it that you started heading further afield than France?
When I was 18 on my after doing my A-levels.
Did you do a gap year?
I did a gap year, yeah. I did a gap year.
Did you go interrailing?
No, I didn't. I went to Canada. So I learned snowboarding. So I went to Canada to learn snowboarding in Whistler. I'd done a job, basically, my first ever kind of paid acting job when I was about 17. It was a Welsh TV show called Jenni, which is basically a rip-off of Jumanji. That had given me enough money to do this like 9 months of travel or something. I know, it was amazing. So I did 3 months in Canada, then I did New Zealand, Australia, Thailand.
Did you do this on your own?
No, I did parts of it on my own, but it was also with my best friend Fee and 2 other friends, Anna and Jess. So we kind of linked up at different times and stuff.
I always got jealous of all my friends that took that gap year and did incredible traveling, because it's a period of life where it's a great opportunity, a great time to do it. And it sounds like you milked it. You did.
I did. I spent all my money.
But then it's quite daunting as well, suddenly from, doing all your family holidays to France and living in Cardiff and being very much at home, to then having the guts to go and travel and do some of it on your own.
Everything felt so much safer back then. I don't know why. Like, I never even considered that it might be dangerous to go and like hitchhike in some places and just stay at people's houses that we didn't know. And I don't know, the world just, I guess maybe when you're young, you don't really see risk as much. But it was great. I was so confident as a young person, I think. Like, I've always been quite an optimist and like a believer of the goodness of people. So I think that was just kind of how I went about the world. Like, everything will be fine. And it was, as it usually is.
But amazing though as well.
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
When you did it then, you didn't have like a mobile phone where your mum and dad could track you.
Right.
And you didn't have like cameras where everything was like, presumably on films. Everything was on films or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, throwaway cameras, I think, that I was taking around with me. And I remember going to the internet shop or whatever it was, once a week to just check in and be like, I'm still alive. But like, how much nicer is that than these days where you're just constantly being monitored by everyone? I hope I don't do that to my children too much, but how could you not really? Because if you've got the ability to check in with your kids if they're safe, I guess you're going to. But yeah, it was true freedom.
And it sounds like you were quite gung-ho. If you did snowboarding in Canada, did you do any extreme sports anywhere else?
I did all the bungee jumping and skydiving in New Zealand. We climbed glaciers and stuff. That was really amazing. Whitewater rafting, I think. Yeah, I think we just did it all. Anything we could do.
Oh my God, you did all the holidays. Can I ask you, would you do any of that now?
No, not a chance.
Isn't that funny?
Not a chance. I can't even really do roller coasters anymore. The fear that I might die and, not be a mum anymore.
Being a mum changes everything and changes. The minute you become a parent, if you're lucky to have kids and suddenly you're like, wow, I never quite realized you could feel like this about a small person.
Yeah. You can't help but just only think about yourself before kids. Obviously, you think about other people in your life, but you are the lead person in your story. And then as soon as you have, in my experience, when I had River, that whole thing shifted. And all the things I used to worry about and all the things that concerned me, I don't have time for them.
But it sounds like everything's very nice at the moment. Like you're home in Wales, which it's been quite a while actually that you've been on the road and been elsewhere. Because when did you leave the UK? How old were you when you moved abroad?
I think I was 30 when 28 when I first moved to LA. So it's I got my first LA job, left, went there. Did 2 or 3 years there. And then when I got Gotham, that was when I was 30. So moved to New York.
And that's two different, very different experiences. And I know for anyone here that's not been to the States, and by the way, hello to you, wherever you're listening now. But if you've not been to the States, you just think, it's America. But actually, everywhere is very different and they have their own quirks. Yeah. And LA is almost like quite a unique little bubble.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like America should be different countries like Europe is, because you go to all these different places and they feel, the people are different, the culture is different, the food is different, they feel like different countries. And yeah, I think trying to rule them all is probably quite a task.
Before you moved to LA, had you been there before?
No.
Okay.
And I had obviously thought about it because of being in the industry. It's like Hollywood. But when I got there, it took me a really long time to like it. And I'm still not entirely sure I like it. I like the people. I've got some wonderful friends from there. But I don't know. I feel like it's not quite my type of place. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people looking over, they're speaking to you, but they're looking for the next person that might be more important. And there's a lot of the energy of LA is quite kind of needy because there's a lot of people there who want to be doing things that they can't do because everyone is involved in the acting world, or the, entertainment world. And it's difficult because everything you do is associated to the industry. So everyone you meet, even a dentist, will be like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah's dentist. And you're like, cool, I don't care. But it's hard to find any downtime there because everything's connected. So when I moved to New York, so it took me I was in LA for about 3 years, and just about at the end of the 3 years, I was like, okay, I could live here. And then I got the job in New York, and it took me 3 days, and I was like, this is it. This is my place.
It's almost more European.
It's very, very much so. Yeah, closer to Europe. Yeah.
And when you were living in the States, did you pick up an American twang? Did you have to lose the Welsh a little bit?
Yeah, people say that sometimes I do, but I don't really have much of a Welsh accent anyway. So I don't think. I mean,
no, you're very soft.
Subtle. Yeah. My mum's Irish, but then she lost her accent, so I think I kind of follow her in that I'm quite neutral. But yeah, probably. I can be quite a chameleon, so I can kind of change it a little bit to fit in with where I am. But I don't know, I also feel like maybe I wanted to maintain my Welsh identity out there, so maybe I didn't lose it too much.
Yeah. It sounds like you've traveled quite a lot. I mean, you've said you travel a lot and you've been to some amazing places. But within the UK, have you lived in many different places in the UK as well?
Not a huge amount. I've filmed in a lot of different places. I've lived in Cardiff, London, and Sheffield. I went to university in Sheffield, so I'd say they. It's quite a funny little triangle, actually.
Okay, so you went back to Yorkshire in the end.
I did, yes, and I loved it.
And when you were like not living at home, and did you ever take stuff? Were you the kind of person that needed home comforts?
I have a teddy, which is really embarrassing, who is as old as I am. So I'm a Christmas baby. I was born on the 12th of December, and I got Teddy for my first Christmas present. And there's a picture of me like a third of the size of him, and now obviously he's.
Does he still exist?
He still exists.
What state is he in?
He's in a terrible state. And I sniff his ear. That's what I.
But still.
So embarrassing. Yeah. If I'm feeling like a little anxious, I'll sniff his ear.
Oh.
But he is an absolute state. And I was filming in Portugal. I think I'd had to fly in from America, and I'd stopped in Gatwick, I think, in a Hilton. And I'd taken Teddy out and put him in bed with me. And in the morning, I'd rushed and packed. And so I got to Lisbon. I'd done a full day of rehearsals, and I got back to my Airbnb and unpacked, and he wasn't there. And I had an absolute meltdown where I was like looking in places that he couldn't possibly fit, like in tiny boxes, like Teddy, Teddy, Teddy. And I was running around, and I rang the Hilton. And I was like, hi, my child has left their teddy bear potentially in the Hilton, and can you please let me know? Could you find it? And there was this absolutely gorgeous woman from, I think she's like Northern, and she was like, all right, look, I'll go and have a look now. She got back and she was like, we've got your teddy. And I was like, oh, thank you, like burst into tears. And then I sent my sister, because they were like, we can send it. And I was like, no. So my sister took a train from like London down to Gatwick to get Teddy. And yeah, so I've never taken him anywhere again. He just stays in Cardiff now, just in case.
At what stage did you introduce Teddy to your husband, and was that fine?
I think it was pretty late on. No, it's probably early. I don't really hide much. Oh God, it's so embarrassing.
Everyone has something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure they do.
I feel, apart from, leaving teddy bears in hotels, I feel that because you've done so much traveling, you must be pretty good at it. Are you the kind of person that's like, right, I need this. You've got you've just got a perfect case. You know what you need. You have like a passport holder with a ticket slip. No?
No. I wish. What am I? I tend to travel with a lot of stuff. So I'm not very good at refining everything down to the essentials.
Well, it's the just in case thing.
Yeah.
What if you need it?
Exactly. I don't know. And with a kid now as well, it's like overpack. I think I'm getting better. Right, when my husband met me, he'd never run for a plane in his life. And then for about 3 years, we ran for every single plane we got on.
Have you been one of those people then that literally is running as the gate is closing?
100%. I've amazingly only ever missed 2 planes in my life. Yeah. And one of them wasn't entirely my fault. I'm very good at like knowing exactly the exact amount of time I need. Actually, both of them were my fault. One of them, Heathrow had some problems, so we couldn't get through the customs. And the other one, it was ridiculous. I was going to Burning Man. The gate was like 36. It starts boarding. So I'm just sat in and I'm like, I'll just let everyone else, because it's Burning Man. So I was like, I'll just let everyone else do their thing, and then I'm going to get on last. So I walk up and I hand over my ticket, and the woman goes, we're going to Chicago. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, you're looking for 36A. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, why have you got a 36A? So 36A is a bus ride away. So I have to like run again, down a thing, get on a bus, go. And obviously there was the plane had gone by the time I got there. But I was like, what kind of an airport has 36? and then 36 A, B, C, D, E in a different building. And the chances that the thing was going at the same... Anyway.
It's like to catch you out.
Yeah, I'm a runner, but lately I've just, I think within the last 6 months, started to be better. I've packed for the first time in my life the day before. Packed everything.
Gosh, it sounds like you've changed quite a lot.
Just matured.
Wow.
In my 40s.
How long do you think that'll last?
Yeah, like an hour. Like one more plane ride, probably.
I think it's good. It's nice to be prepared, and then you can kind of make a journey and feel relaxed with it. So yeah, it's quite impressive that you've made the change. You could give me some lessons if
my
you can.
My husband's happy about it, at least.
Yeah. And then today we are on the train to Harrogate. What's happened in Harrogate?
What hasn't happened in Harrogate?
Oh, I see.
No, I did a film in Harrogate, which was a really lovely experience. It was a horror film called Starvaker, and it was with Modfydd Clark, who's Welsh, and Matt Smith, the three of us in a kind of old farm building, and it was set in the 70s. So a really cool... it turned out really well, and yeah, it was just it was a really fun experience because it was the first time I'd met Modfydd, even though we both come from Penarth. We basically had the same life but just 5 years apart, but we got on really well, and obviously Matt Smith is wonderful, and we got on really well as well. So it was just like the whole experience was lovely. And Harrogate itself I'd never been to. And
did you go to Betty's tea room?
We did go to Betty's tea room.
Of course you have to.
I have to. Did the spas and just spent a lovely time walking around, all these beautiful buildings. And Carson, I think at the time, hadn't spent a lot of time in the UK, so it was really nice to move up there and show him that kind of...
God, it's beautiful,
stunning
in Harrogate as well.
Yeah.
Because it's got so much history. I'm pretty sure that Agatha Christie is from Harrogate.
Oh, well, a lot of people say that the buildings inspired J.K. Rowling, didn't they, with Harry Potter? So that was quite, it's nice, like magical kind of beautiful buildings as well.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Well, how nice to spend 8 weeks, because I guess if you're doing a film or a project, you have to kind of relocate for a while, and so you have to kind of make it your home for that period. Although I presume that you were filming quite intensely.
Yes, we were, but I feel like I did also have enough time to look around, and we were staying right in the centre, so that was really nice. And we'd travel out to this farm every day, so I feel like I got a good amount of time to look around.
Yeah. Did you train it to location, or did you have... we had limos. We're actors.
I just had so many bags to take a
really large
I just drove. Yeah. But I would in the future train it, because it's a really lovely train ride as well up through, that from Leeds to Harrogate. I think we did take trains down to see friends in Leeds.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous part of the world. But you know what? I mean, likewise where you're from as well. It's just, it must be nice being back there as well.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's there's so much accessible, beautiful nature. You can go north to Brecon Beacons, which is really close to us. You can go west to the beaches, and my sister lives in Carmarthen, and from her house you can get, to all these beautiful places within like half an hour and stuff. So yeah, I feel really lucky to be from Wales and to be back.
And how, as an American, how's your husband kind of bedding in Wales?
He says it rains a lot. When we first moved here, it rained for 18 weeks solid or something. It was like the longest period of rain in the history of Wales or something.
And
I was like,
that.
welcome. And Missouri, where he's from, is really like beautiful and dry most of the year. So that's been challenging. But I think the more time he spends here in Wales, he really has started to love, especially like the people and just the ease of life. We were living in New York for 10 years, separately at first, and then we got together. But New York is hard. It's like a hard place to come from or live, especially with kids. It's loud and it's noisy, and it's just an easy life in Cardiff. Everything's right on our doorstep. And like I say, all the nature, you can be walking in amazing hills in the middle of nowhere within 20 minutes. So,
and then you can be on the beach, and
it's just like New Zealand. Yeah.
Just like New Zealand. But the thing is, since you've been home as well, I mean, you've got straight into loads of work as well. So you've been acting and you've been directing too. Have you been? Which one were you doing first? Were you doing them You weren't doing them simultaneously.
I have directed myself on an episode of Gotham, but no, I tend to try and keep them separate because they're
Did you
quite
direct
different.
an episode of Gotham?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
that
wow.
was my first. Yeah, that was amazing.
How scary is that? Because that's a big show as well.
It was, yeah. It's a lot of money to be in charge of, but it was the best possible entry because we were a family. You know, I directed the very final episode we ever shot. It was the golden wrap, so it was the very final time we were all on set together. And Ben McKenzie, who was the lead of our show, wrote the episode. So it was just like the most incredible way to finish that experience.
Did that mean that you got to say that's a wrap on the final?
That's a golden wrap on Gotham. Yeah, it was really magical. And obviously, like, I'd worked with that crew and those actors for 5 years. So it was such a supportive environment. Our producers were amazing, and, you know, they were so helpful and supportive of me during the process. And it was just, I could not have asked for a nicer experience. So it was lovely. It was really lovely.
And then you've been directing since, but back in Wales.
Yes, so I did a couple of TV shows in America after Gotham, and then COVID happened, so you know there was a bit of a break. But I've just directed my first UK show. It's called Light in the Hall, Still Waters, and it's also, we shot it back to back in Welsh, and it's out now. It's called Dŵr in Welsh, which means water, but it's the second season of the Light in the Hall TV series, which had Joanna Scanlon and Alexandra Roach and Iwan Ray on in the first season, and then we've got Sian Rhys-Williams and Mark Lewis-Jones and Nia Roberts in the second season. So it was brilliant.
I mean, I find it amazing that, you know, you can be such a successful actor, but then also your head's turned by the directing thing. Why does that happen to so many people? Are you all control freaks?
Yes.
That's
well, there's a clear split, I find, with actors. Because some people are like, they would never want to do it, especially with the women directors that I meet. We haven't really been given that option from a young age. So like when I was growing up, I knew I wanted to tell stories. I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but the only people I could see doing it were female actors. So I think if I'd have seen more female directors, I'd have gone potentially that route rather than the acting route. So maybe that's what's happening a little bit as well. Because I would have loved to go to film school and do that stuff, but I just didn't know it was available to me. You know, I barely knew that acting was a career that you could do. So yeah, I think maybe that's kind of an element of it. But also I'm a list maker, and I like getting to the end of the day and being like, I achieved this. And I never get that feeling when I'm acting because you're so out of control of it all. And you get to the end of a take and you don't know if you've done well or not. In fact, a lot of the times when you think you've done a good take, it's terrible. And when you think you've done a bad take, it's good. So I can't get that job satisfaction from acting. But when I direct, I know that at the end of the day, I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. And I've, you know, I remember what I've got, and I know that I've like tick, 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 done the bits. So that feels good.
So you're like the one calling the shots, really, as opposed to as an actor, you're totally at the mercy of the director.
Yeah, exactly. And I enjoy going between those two states. But I really love the satisfaction that directing gives me, and the process of directing and being kind of the head of a team of people all working together to do something. Like as an actor, you're quite lonely, even though you're obviously like on set and it's really lovely and you make friends with people, but it's kind of like the tip of the spear. So like everybody for months and months has been doing their job all to get you to focus on your one moment of performance. So you're just like in the spotlight doing the thing, and it's a lot of pressure, but it's also a lot of responsibility, because if you don't nail that, it's almost like everybody's work is not gone to waste. But you know, it's like you should really just at the very least learn your lines and get it right. But obviously right is subjective. So it's quite a lonely experience. Whereas being a director, you're part of that huge machine and you're like leading everybody and keeping everybody on track and feeling like their voices are heard and contribution is valid, and that's what I enjoy. And I enjoy that element of being part of a team a bit more than I like being kind of like a lone figure as an actor. And obviously, like, bringing characters to life is really special. And there's parts of the acting experience that I really, really enjoy as well. So I just like doing both, and I hope that I get to keep doing both.
When you are now back in the UK, do you get, when you have time off at weekend, do you head off and like go on a little mini break or a staycation at all with the family?
This year we managed to go on honeymoon, my husband and I. So I guess we go on more like longer breaks. We don't really do little staycations, just because I always find the calendar fills up with just stuff like meals and kids parties and stuff. But we try and I would like to in the future we always say, like, we're so close to Europe, but there's so much we could do, or we're so close to, amazing places in the UK that we could just drive to. But
it's easier said than done though, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got to get a bit organized, haven't you? And I don't know, we're always quite tired by the end of the week, so we just like, we should just stay in and watch a film.
I know. Sometimes it's just quite nice to just chill at home.
Especially because it's always raining in Cardiff, so we have duvet days regularly.
Okay. Well, that sounds quite nice.
Yeah.
And where did you go on your honeymoon?
Japan.
Oh, how amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah, we were very lucky that my parents took River for 10 days. It was the moment actually that I found out that we were pregnant. So that was in Japan. And then also that I had a job that I did earlier this year for Netflix, which was I Will Find You, which we filmed out in Canada. So it was
the Harlan Coben.
The Harlan Coben, yes. Yeah, so
I've read the book, which is annoying because I know what happens.
Oh, well, we change it up a bit.
Oh, do you? Okay, good.
It was really fun. It was a really fun experience. So yeah, that was quite a trip to Japan. That was, we ate a lot of amazing food and stayed in some really beautiful places. So it was some real highlights.
Sounds like you've done a lot of traveling over in the Far East as well. Am I right in saying that Thailand is somewhere that you love?
Yes, absolutely. So I traveled to Thailand as part of that gap year that I did when I was about 19, and did like the full moon parties and the kind of hedonistic lifestyle. And then I ended up going back there when I was 30. I'd just gone through a breakup, and I got on like the same boat to go to the same island. It's called Koh Phangan, where the full moon party happens. So I was like on this boat with all these teenagers, like painted faces, and I was like crying in the corner. And I went back to this area. So like where the full moon party is, if you just go round on a small boat to the next bay, it's called the Sanctuary. It's like a wellness center, and you do a fast, like a cleanse. So I did this 10-day cleanse where all I drank was clay mixed with watermelon juice. It was disgusting. So horrible.
Did you pay to go to this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. I paid. And you have like supplements, and then at the end of the day you get a broth. And basically you do that for 10 and you give yourself enemas, which is...
So what, the clay drink and the broth and the enemas, that can't take very long. What do you do the rest of the day?
Meditate, walk around. No, it was like a phenomenal experience. It was like a real life-changing moment. It's the first time I really learned to meditate. And then there's like different parts to the sanctuary where it's like there's the bit where you do the cleanse, then there's the kind of vegan raw restaurant, and then there's the meditation area, and then there's like this area where you have different practitioners doing all this kind of crazy, very out there practices, like something called rolfing, where you get a very, very deep massage. And I had 3 of those, and in one of them I like died. And yeah, because it just like it's an imagination, obviously, but within it I died. I went down through the earth. I went all the way to the bottom of the ocean, and then I became like particles that rose back up and then got eaten by deer and turned into trees. And you're just deep in your imagination. But it was incredible. And then another time she did a rolfing, my entire body became a demon, apart from like 2% of me, which was like, okay, I don't know what's happening right now. And then I like not vomited literally, but like energetically vomited out the demon that like went up into the... I know. I mean, I've got a good imagination.
Clearly you need to be a director.
Very visual, slightly mad. But yeah, I was so open to all that stuff at that point, and still am, but obviously don't have as much time for it anymore. But I love anything that is in that world, because I think that, we obviously hold a lot of trauma and stuff in our bodies that we don't really work through. And I think using imagination, and if you want to believe in it, great. Or if you want to, be more of a scientific route, fine too. But like, I think that there's so much that we don't understand about ourselves and our bodies. And we're so distracted by technology and media and all this stuff that is fine. But like, actually, there's so much interesting stuff to find in ourselves. So yeah, meditation and doing all these like kind of woo-woo practices, I just love. You only get one life, so why not experience all the crazy,
experience as much as you can.
Yeah,
without a doubt. It has been so lovely to chat to you. I know that we haven't had any snacks.
I know, I'm going in for the crisps now.
There's plenty there.
Baby needs crisps.
Please help yourself. And if you're listening somewhere on a train right now and you're hungry, remember that there's like always a QR code on the back of the train seat, so you can just get some food yourself instead of us just talking about it. But thank you, Erin, for joining us today on Roots from LNER. Erin's new show, Mudtown, is out now on You and Alibi, and you can still catch Still Waters on S4C and Channel 4 now. And if you like what you heard, why not rate and review wherever you get your podcasts? Make sure you give us a follow as well. And look out for Erin's Quiet Coach episode, which will drop next week. We'll hear about her snacks, tracks and hacks when she travels and all the places that have inspired her. We will see you very soon. Skip the roadblock for snooze o'clock. With LNER, it's freedom all the way. Roots from LNER is a Distorted production.